Ha guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Warriors late season rival floated as Lauri Markkanen and trade destination. The Golden State Warriors and Houston Rockets reignited their rivalry to some extent late last season, except instead of the playoff battles from over 5 years ago, it was a race to the NBA's play-in tournament. After a war of words between Tarin and Draymond Green, the Warriors eventually held off the Rockets for the Western Conference's D seed. Not that it really mattered, as they were promptly eliminated by the Sacramento Kings. The Warriors and Rockets could renew their rivalry next season as two teams looking to push up the Western Conference standings, but perhaps it could simmer even before that. In regard to the Lauri Markkanen and trade talks, Golden State have been the top team linked to the Utah Jazz forward in recent weeks, yet they're not the only franchise who could be interested in Markkanen before he becomes extension eligible on August 6. According to ESPN, Zach Lowe on the latest episode of his podcast, Houston are an interesting team for Markkanen, as their talented young roster aims to take another significant step forward next season. Houston is an interesting one to me because I've just been of the view that if I'm the Rockets, I just need to let this thing marinate, but I know I am a Udoka and the coaching staff. They want to win, they want to hit the gas now, and Markkanen would be a way to hit the gas. Zach Lowe: the Rockets' abundance of talented young players and future picks could certainly outbid the Warriors in such a scenario, but it remains to be seen whether they're quite ready for that all-in kind of move like Golden State with Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody. Houston also have decisions to make on 2021 first-round picks Jalen Green and Alperen Sengun. What happens with that duo could significantly hamper the Rockets' ability to extend Markkanen's deal while retaining any real financial flexibility if Houston were to pull off a trade for the 2023 All-Star. All of a sudden they'd likely be projected as a better team than Golden State next season. That's the issue for the Warriors in these discussions. Not only do they need Markkanen for their own benefit, but their ability to make the playoffs next season is seriously compromised if he ends up with a young team like the Rockets or San Antonio Spurs. NBA rumors: Draymond Green sabotages Warriors Bucks and bait Jazz trade stalls. As the NBA off-season continues to unfurl, we have reached a point of relative stasis. The primary free agents are off the board and trade talks have largely stalled, with potential blockbusters hung up by haggling over prospects and draft picks, and yet there's still plenty of potential movement on the horizon. Front offices don't stop during the Olympics, and we are still months away from preseason basketball. Here are the latest NBA rumors to kickstart your week. The Utah Jazz are towing the line between rebuilding and taking the next step. It will ultimately come down to what Utah decides to do with Lauri Markkanen, who has until August 6 to decide on a contract extension with the team. If the Jazz trade him and the Golden State Warriors, among other teams, are surely interested, it will reset the timeline and signal a clear direction. If Markkanen re-ups his contract with Utah, then it's full steam ahead for the Jazz. It's time to start winning games. Utah has the unique flexibility to go either way. Will Hardy is a brilliant coach who has put the Jazz in the post-season picture each of the last 2 seasons. Utah was on the playoffs bubble leading up to consecutive trade deadlines, but Danny engineered deliberate teardowns to secure Utah's position in the NBA draft lottery. That might not happen again if Markkanen extends, as the Jazz are equipped with a mountain of future draft picks to leverage and trade talks to improve the roster. If the Jazz go the other direction and tank, well, those picks will come in handy. A recent development could signal Utah's preferred direction, according to Andy Wilson of the Salt Lake Tribune. There haven't been any other interested NBA teams in trading for sixth man Jordan Clarkson. That of course signals a desire to trade the veteran guard who could stand in the way of Colin Sexton, Isaiah Collier and other prospects in Utah's rotation. It's a bit surprising to see Clarkson's name draw a dud in trade talks. He's under contract for 2 more years at roughly $14 million annually, which is a reasonable if mildly steep price. Last season was a step back for Clarkson, but it came on the heels of a legitimately fantastic 2022-23 campaign during which the Jazz could have easily swapped Clarkson for a first-round pick or two. He remains a prolific complementary scorer who has made a conscious effort to pass and defend at a higher level. There are lapses of course, but Clarkson's shot-making and experience ought to appeal to some teams. Utah probably won't trade Clarkson for scraps without financial motivation, but keep an eye on the 32-year-old as the season progresses if needs arise. Around the league for a bench spar. RK plug. Utah will get on the phone. Earlier this offseason, Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer reported rumblings that the Milwaukee Bucks would like to play a more versatile style of defense that led to natural questions about Brook Lopez's future as an aging drop coverage rim protector with limited mobility outside the painted area. Milwaukee has the personnel to switch and get more aggressive with a scheme built around Giannis Anmo, but Lopez is tethering the Bucks to a more traditional coverage. Despite the noise, however, it does not appear that Lopez is actually on the chopping block. While the 36-year-old would surely return value, and there is only so much time left to return value in a Lopez trade, the Bucks don't plan on dealing their starting center. According to GM John, Warriors Draymond Green could retire in 2 years. Golden State Warriors forward Draymond Green said on the Club 520 podcast that he could retire from the NBA in 2 years. Green is 34. He turns 35 on March 4, 2025. I'm on the wrong side of my downs, lied Green said. Like I'm headed into year 13. I probably got 2 more seasons. Green has 3 years and $77.7 million left on the 4-year deal he signed with the Warriors in 2023. The final season in 2026-27 is a player option worth $27.7 million. A 4-time NBA champion, Green averaged 8.6 points, 7.22 rebounds, 6.0 assists, 1.0 steals and 0.9 blocks this past season, while shooting 49.7% from the field, 39.5% from beyond the arc and 73% from the free throw line. Golden State drafted Green with the 35th overall pick in the 2012 NBA draft. Green has career averages of 8.7 points, 7.0 rebounds, 5.6 assists, 1.3 steals and 1.0 blocks. He has made 4 All-Star teams, 8 All-Defensive teams and 2 All-NBA teams. Green also won the 2016-17 Defensive Player of the Year award. The Warriors will look different next season. Klay Thompson left the franchise for the Dallas Mavericks in free agency. Golden State added Buddy Hield, Kyle Anderson and Anthony Mtons. After losing Thompson, he provided cap relief for this organization. On his way out, Green said, got some PCK sent back to the organization on his way out, and I believe in second round picks. I got no choice but to believe in second round picks, so I'm happy for him. I'm happy he left because I did not enjoy at all seeing him the way I saw him last year. The Warriors drafted Thompson with the 11th overall pick in the 2011 NBA draft out of Washington State. Thompson made 5 All All-Star teams, 2 All-NBA teams and 1 All-Defensive team with the Warriors. He helped the franchise win 4 championships. Thompson has career averages of 19.6 points, 3.5 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 0.9 steals and 0.5 blocks. He turns 35 next season. And you fan, what do you think of the situation of Draymond Green? Leave your opinion in the comments.